Hey guys, this is Drawn Fire Podcast, episode 2. Before we get started, I want to thank the good folks over at Patreon. Patreon.com/drawnfire. Folks over there that subscribe to my Patreon page and support me every month. Very, very thankful for you all, and I appreciate it very much. So if you'd like to help support, that'd be great. If you want to check that out, I give away stuff and try to give discounts and deals to folks that like killer artwork. And there I go, bumping the camera already. Good job. So that is my little intro plug. Today's episode is episode 2. And today's episode, I want to talk about that worthless liberal arts degree. Disgusting. Those liberal arts people. I have a liberal arts degree before people start overreacting. And I think I know what I'm talking about. So, are liberal arts degrees worthless? I think in a way, they kind of are. But there's caveats to that, like with anything, right? To me, my liberal arts degree was not worthless. I very much value the time that I spent in college studying to get my liberal arts degree. Now, technically, my liberal arts degree is absolutely worthless because I'm self-employed, right? So if you want to get down to the nuts and bolts of it, yeah, my liberal arts degree is kind of worthless. I'm not really ashamed of that because I wasn't really, when I went to school, I had no idea what I was going to do. And that's fine. Like I knew that I was going to have probably a tough time when I left to find a job or to be employed doing art. But I went anyway because I wanted to learn. I wanted to become better. I wanted to become better than everybody else. That's hubris, right? So, I think I had the right idea when I went. Plus, I was already pretty good. I had a pretty good background in art. So I felt like it was a good bet. It was the best thing that I could think of. It's the only thing that I was interested in. So I did go and get my liberal arts degree, aka my art degree, drawing, whatever you want to call it. Now, where it's a problem, there's a lot of people, and I think we all see the memes of it and the people sort of making fun of folks that go and get a liberal arts degree and then complain about not getting a job. That is obviously a huge problem, and it's primarily because we associate going to college or university with employment. That's what we think of, right? We send kids to school so that they become better and knowledgeable about things in the world that are useful that they can get obviously be paid for. I think those notions of university and the usefulness of it, for the most part, for all realistic purposes, is probably coming to an end here pretty rapidly. So we've just got too many people going. I hate to say that, but it's really too many people going to college. Now, where is this degree not useless? Well, in my opinion, folks that go and they have a goal, even if it's a sort of an unrealistic goal, as long as they have a goal and they have drive, then that's not necessarily useless. If they have a goal, they have drive, they have talent already, and they go and they work hard and they leave. I've had students, like I said in the first video, I taught university for a handful of years after I graduated, I had students that, the majority of them, yeah, they didn't really need to be in my class. And most of them didn't want to be in my class, which is the sad thing. They were art majors and they weren't even wanting to be there drawing or doing art. But every now and then you get that one student that you're like, yeah, this one's going to be good. This one might be able to make it. Um, and art is valuable and it's important, whether or not anybody really realizes it. And yes, you do need education. You really, really need to have teachers to teach you about art. And it's just like with anything, you don't go and anybody that it's like playing a guitar. Like, yeah, you can kind of teach yourself, but it's a lot easier and you're probably gonna have more success if you have a teacher, right? So you do need the education if you want to be serious about it. And I've had students, several students, who were serious about it and were very good. And I was like, yeah, you're gonna be all right if you keep this up. You're gonna be good. Man, these lines are looking janky as crap. Try not to curse so much, guys. I apologize, guys and girls. So there are definitely people that should be going into the arts, into the art field, as it were. One of the things I would always tell my students when when I would first get them in class is, "What are you doing here? Why are you here?" And I would say it sort of in a brash way like that to catch them off guard, because the ones that were there for a purpose could be like, "Well, I want to learn how to do this. I want to be a graphic designer. I want to design characters for video games. I want to do this. I want to do that." They would have the answer already. But most of the students, they would just look at me like, I have to take this class. That's why I'm here. Which is sad. That was the mindset of so many of them. But that was the main thing, though. Is like I would tell my students, like, what are you doing here? What do you have? What's your goal? What do you have planned for when you leave? If you don't have anything planned, that's not a big deal. But you have to have a goal still. Even if that goal is, I want to get better. That was my goal. I had no idea what I was going to do when I left. And it was really only up until a couple of years ago that I realized that I could actually do this. And that's what I'm doing now, full time. But I'm self-employed, and it's not easy. It's very much a challenge for a non-business person to do it this way. Um, the other thing that I would tell students is, if you're going to go the route of the artist, the traditional, what we think of as the artist, whether it's I'm talking about visual art here. I'm not really going to talk about theater or any of that stuff, but I'm talking about the artist, the visual person, the person that creates paintings, drawings, illustrations, design, whatever. If you want to go the route of the self-employed, I'm going to sit around and make paintings all day artist, who's going to be your customer base? Who are you going to sell this stuff to? The beauty of today is that we have this wonderful thing called the internet. You're probably using it right now. And, it's made that part of the job much easier. So, before the internet, obviously, if you wanted to be an artist, if you wanted to sell work to people, you had to be in a big place where people with a lot of money could come and buy your work. Obviously that's hard to do, and not very many people did it, which is why the art history books they're big, but they're not that big, right? Because not that many people were able to really do it to a big extent. But you don't have to do that anymore, and that's the beauty of it. It's easier today to make it as an artist than it's ever been. And people can disagree with that, but I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing without the internet. It's a fact. All my business is done online. The other thing that I tell students or that I ask them to consider is what kind of work are they making and who are they making it for? You know, who are what's basically what is your interest in life? You know, do you have interests, and primarily, like, are they interests that other people share with the same passion? You know, if your interest is like some very obscure thing that only a handful of people deal with, you know, whatever it is, if it's not a very popular thing, or if it's just a, you know, not very many people know about it or whatever, you know, this question isn't really answerable, because the people that, you know, if you're going to make work about something, a subject, then you have to have an audience that's big enough that it appeals to, right? If your whole audience are just, you know, kids your age or whatever, talking about students, um, you know, it's not really, there's no, it's probably not going to be very profitable. Uh, I I lucked out big time when I got into the sort of circles and groups that I got into. You know, I got into firearms and shooting and that whole sort of history and collecting community. Man, this drawing is looking like crap. I've got to go back and finish it. I've got a weird angle here, guys. I'm trying to work and I'm upright and it's really weird. Sorry, I digress. But I got really lucky. I got into shooting and a lot of groups on Facebook, and you know, I started sharing my work, and it got, you know, pretty popular. And for the most part, I mean, I'm still small fry by all consider by all stretch of the imagination. I'm not big at all. Um, the beauty is I'm still, you know, I got enough people following me that I can make a modest living at what I'm doing, and you know, it's still better than any job that I could get around here. Because what I'm doing has a lot of reach and a lot of popularity, right? Guns in America. I mean, it's apple pie. You know, it's baseball. That's what guns are in America, right? And I'm happy about that because I really enjoy it, and I like making work about it, and I get to make work about something that I really like, right? I love firearms and history, and I love shooting, and I love training, and I love taking classes, and I love talking to people about it. I'm all about some martial arts stuff and some self-defense stuff. It's all very interesting. You know, I'm totally a hobbyist when it comes to this stuff, and I like to make work about it. So it worked out really well for me. But a lot of people, you know, that want to get into this thing, you know, if you go to an art show, if you've ever been to one, you know, you're going to see people that make all kinds of weird conceptual work and abstract work, and you know, self portraits and just, you know, work for the sake of making work, basically, right? Maybe it's got some special meaning to them. That's great. You know, if you just want to make work that's special to you and doesn't really appeal to anybody else, and you know, doesn't want to make them pull out their wallet and give you, you know, crisp $100 bills for it, then you can't really, you know, whine about not selling work or whatever. I mean, that's just, you know, it's it just doesn't work that way. You know, your work has to appeal to more people. When I was in college, I I made work that appealed to me. And when I got out of college and I was like, man, I really would like to make some money with this, I was like, man, I really need to make this more broad. I can't make my work so specifically to me that it only appeals to me, right? Um, so, you know, and some people, they just want to make work and they don't ever care about selling it. That's fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with that either. But if your goal is to become an artist and live and work and do this thing, then you got to be willing to look beyond yourself. So, uh, you know, like I said, the liberal arts degree, getting back on topic really, is not necessarily in and of itself a bad thing. Um, and for some people that go into graphic design or whatever, it can definitely be useful. Um, Biggest problem is that there are so many people trying to do it these days, and there's just not enough like job opportunities for those people. They're the job opportunities are getting filled by the best ones because art is extremely competitive. If you want to be a lot of jobs out there, you can just go and maybe you don't even need to have prior training to take some jobs. And there's a lot of times there's a lot of jobs out there and not enough people to fill them. Right? We can think of a lot of jobs like plumbing and things of that sort. And I'm not an expert on all that, obviously, but with art careers, there are so many people and not enough jobs. And typically, you're talking about students that I had at a fairly small, not small, but just not a big liberal arts university. Um, it's basically a university that's good for forensic science and education. That's the university that I went to. It's not really known for art. Yeah, definitely not. And those kids that are, those people that are graduating from those programs at universities like that are going up against people that went to art school, they went to design school, they went to Columbus College of Art and Design or SCAD or wherever. Those are the ones they're going up against. And that's tough, unless you're just really good at what you do. And there's some that are. There's some that I went to school with that they were really good at what they did. And there's some students, like I said, that I had that were very good and they totally had a shot at being, a really prominent artist. And, if they made the right moves, could totally get somewhere with it if they wanted to go that route. But there is a beauty in the route that I'm going personally. It's stressful, obviously. There's no job security. But the thing about jobs is there's really no security in any job. So, who cares, right? I don't know how long I'll be doing this. Hopefully it'll be a lifetime career for me. I don't know. Hopefully. But, this is the best I can do. And like I said, I don't regret going to school to be a better artist. I think I definitely got a lot better going to school. And I think school primarily made me a little bit more intellectually savvy. I don't want to sound like a pretentious dick when I say that, but I think if I hadn't gone, I definitely wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. That's a fact. Maybe I'd be tattooing somewhere, I don't know, but I wouldn't be doing this, and I'd probably be, pretty miserable. So this video is going on way too long. It's almost 20 minutes or 19 minutes, whatever. So I want to end with that, and that's just my thoughts of the day, right? That's what this podcast is really kind of going to be. I need to clean up this drawing. It looks pretty terrible right now, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Like I said, if you want to support this channel, if you want to support what I do, if you like what I do, if you find value in it, please consider checking out my Patreon, or contact me if you see a piece of work that you want to buy. This piece right here is going to be up for sale whenever I finish it. And I do that a lot. I make a piece of work and I sell it through social media primarily, working on getting my website up to a better state so that I can actually use it for selling. I really need to do that, especially given the nature of Facebook and Instagram these days. And I definitely need to have backup plans for the inevitable boot off of those platforms. Anyway, so getting off topic here. thank you all for watching. If you've made it this far, I appreciate it. And I'll come at you here again with a new drawing and a new topic. I will catch you guys later. Thank you for watching the Drawn Fire Podcast.